If you're using the Unity animator for your AI or your player, you've probably run into a situation where the responsiveness of those animations just wasn't as snappy as you wanted them to be. Or maybe even animations are totally skipped whenever the player tries to input things too quickly. In this video, I'm going to go in-depth in the animator state transition interrupts to help you understand exactly how those work, why you might be missing transitions, and provide some high-level guidance on how you can avoid running into those circumstances. Hey, Chris here from LlamAcademy, here to help you. Who? Me? Yes, you! Make your game dev dreams become reality by helping your animations play more smoothly. I do want to say that the Animator is a really complicated tool in Unity, and it's really powerful. If you're looking for the basics of how to use an animator, this is not the right video for you to be watching. Also, if your animator looks like this and you just do animator.play and the name of the animation you want to play, this is also not the right video for you. What this video will do is, if you're in that situation where you can transition to multiple states and you can do that, possibly attempting to do that in a very short period of time, this will improve the responsiveness and the polish of how your animations feel. Now, if you're still watching, hopefully you're in the right place. The Unity transition interrupt source documentation isn't very good. All the way back in 2016, Unity acknowledged this and wrote a pretty good blog post about how do these work. Honestly, I didn't really think too much about the interrupt sources before until I started seeing really weird behavior on my AI where they try to use a skill and the animation might play twice, or they might try to do two different skills in a really short period of time because just the cooldown and the conditions were all set up for that. And I really couldn't figure out why, because it was really not a rare case, but it was hard to tell when that was going to happen. Eventually, after a really large amount of debugging and just leaving it alone for a long time because I couldn't figure it out, I found out that this was related to the interrupt sources, and that's where this blog post came into play. So what we're going to do that's a little bit unusual, I'm not going to have the full repository on GitHub because we're going to actually take a live look at what's currently in production for Llama Survival. I'm going to show you one of the animators on the bosses, and I'm going to exacerbate the problem by making the transition times a lot longer and just kind of play around in the animator to show you how all of these work. I've got two layers: the base layer that handles like all the movement stuff. It's really not very complicated. And then the attack layer, which is an additive layer on top of that just handles these attacks. The default state here is empty. There's no motion attached to this state, so that way it doesn't do anything until we're ready to do an attack. Then I've got this any state that will transition to any of the attacks. This transition duration is very short, and that's part of why it was really hard for me to identify this, because only in the cases where the AI wanted to go and do one attack and then another attack in 0.1 seconds or less would I run into this problem. So to make it easier to trigger, I'm going to just increase the transition duration. Before we go too deep into the different examples, I think this blog post is a really good place to start off, because they do a really good job of explaining it, and I'll link to this in the description, and there'll be a card on the screen right now as well. The key thing is, by default with interruption source of none, that you cannot be interrupted. So once we start this transition, there's no way to be interrupted. We're going to go all the way to that next state, and then a transition from there can occur. That's where we'll get that sluggish behavior if you don't provide the interrupt source as something, because we'll have to transition all the way, in this case for potentially half a second, to a new state before we'll start doing a new transition. You can see if I click these three attack combo and then full combo that the animator is not responding as quickly as we'd like it to, because we have to transition all the way to the next state, which is taking half a second. It's maybe still a bit fast to see, so let me up that all to 1. So we can see that's really a slow transition, and it feels really sluggish when we're trying to get them to use the next attack. In my experience, at least with this kind of animator setup, generally speaking, we want the interruption source to be current state. What this means is anytime that we're trying to transition again while we're in the middle of a transition, we can cancel that and start going to a different state that is defined on this state. So in this case, we have the any state, and that's why it's important for me that it's current state. So if we're transitioning from any state to any other state in this layer, we can interrupt that and start going to a different state. The caveat there is if we have ordered interruption turned on, the transition hierarchy we have here is very important. The ones that are higher up on there are then higher priority. So if you watch closely here, if I try to transition from attack 2-hit combo to attack 2-hit combo to grab bite, you'll notice that I fully transitioned to attack 2-hit combo and then to attack 2-hit combo to grab bite, because that second transition is lower on our priority list defined on the any state transition than attack 2-hit combo. So even with current state interruption source with ordered interruption on, I will not interrupt that transition because this is a lower priority transition. For my game, I wanted them to immediately start that next attack. So let's look at how we can do that by setting ordered interruption to be false on all of these transitions. Now, if we try to do the same thing, you'll see immediately as I trigger these triggers, he stops whatever he's doing and starts trying to do that next attack. Since I'm clicking between them very quickly, he kind of stutters, which brings me to the next thing. Whenever we're animating our models, we need to be cognizant that maybe we don't want the ability to immediately trigger next thing. That's part of why a lot of games will have a global cooldown between doing events, because you want that animation to be a little bit smooth, and you also don't want necessarily for AI to use attack, just like back to back like that. Usually they want some kind of cooldown on those. So it's also important to control how often you trigger all of these transitions. Right now, the way I'm doing it is not very good. On a cooldown totally without thinking about anything else, trying to invoke these skills. So in some cases, I might do like full combo and then throw object within 0.1 seconds of each other. So it looks kind of silly, right? Because it's just back to back and I'm not considering, hey, I just used a skill. Maybe we give it a second before I use the next one. So I don't have like a queue of attacks that should be used. And this is where that high level guidance comes in. Whenever we have AI or players, we should queue the actions that they want to take somehow. You can do it very simply by just checking the state and making them wait some time. You can actually implement a queue. Totally depends on your game. The way that I'm re-implemented this is I'm checking against the state and making them wait a global cooldown amount before they try to use the next skill. So for example, if I just use whatever skill does this, there's going to be about a second or two before he tries to do the next actual skill. So if you're within range, he'll still attack you within his attack cooldown after using that skill, but he won't just immediately go into the next skill. Now, because of the way I have this animator set up, I can't really show the current state, next state stuff because there's not a deep enough interconnectivity here. So let's bring up our friend, the blog post. We talked about current state and why I use that. Let's talk about the next state. We're talking about going from A to B. If they change all of these to using the interruption source next state, if we trigger from A to B and then like the next frame, try to go to A to C or A to D, those will be ignored because we're talking about only interruptions from the next state, that's B, can interrupt this transition. So if we try to go then from B to D, that would interrupt the transition from A to B. So we won't stop at B anymore. Instead, we'll go straight from A to D. The ordered interruptions are still important. So if you include ordered interruption and try to go from B to D and then B to C, B to C will not interrupt from B to D because that has higher priority. Well, there's two final sets. That's current state, then next state, and next state, then current state. These get a little bit confusing, so let's walk through it. They're saying if we're going to go from current state to next state, and we go from A to B, that's still the same use case we're having, right? From A to B. And then if we have 4 transitions in the next frame, they trigger from A to C, from A to D, from B to C, and from B to D. Keeping in mind that ordered interruption is checked, meaning we're not just going to do all of them. The priority matters. The important thing we see here is A to C is the highest priority one. So we're going to ignore literally everything else because this is the transitions from A to something else. And we're talking current state first. So A to B and A to D are both discarded because those are lower priority. And because we're using interruption source starting on current state, we also can discard all of the B transitions. Now, if we flip this to next state, then current state, we would choose B to D because that one has the highest priority on the next transition. So we would actually go from A all the way to D instead of A to B and then B to D, assuming all of these have the same interruption source, next state, then current state, and ordered interruption turned on. I know that's a little bit confusing. Take a second, maybe rewatch that section. I think it'll make sense. You just have to really think about these from exactly what it says. We're going to evaluate first the current state, then the next state, or the next state, then the current state. Now, you probably already knew that Animator was a complex tool in Unity that has a lot of power and a lot of great features. The way that interrupt sources are handled was a totally new level that I had no idea existed before. I hope from this video you understood how the interrupt sources work and how you can apply those to your game to get the results that you're looking for to get a really polished animation. And if you did get value out of this video, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to help the channel grow, reach more people, and add value to more people. There's new videos posted every tutorial Tuesday. And if you want to help support this channel, you can go to patreon.com/LlamAcademy. Get your name up here on the screen, get a voice shout out starting at the awesome tier. Speaking of those awesome supporters, there's Gerald Anderson, Autumn K, Matt Parkin, Ivan, and Rulin. And at the phenomenal tier, there's Andrew Bowen and Andrew Albright. Thank you all for your support. I am so grateful.